Hey guys, welcome to the Playoff Podcast. We're here with the most happiest and the most exciting and funniest hosts. This podcast is all about sports, family, music, and etc. Except for politics. We don't mess with politics. But today's just another episode with my best buddies. My partners in crime. No crime involved. But throughout my life, I always watch Steph Curry, Reggie Miller, and Ray Allen. They're all some great shooters, the best three shooters to ever touch a basketball in the NBA. But we're not here to talk about these guys. We're here to talk about you. But also, we got to get our little introduction first. Israel, let them know.
Yo, what's up, guys? My name is Israel. Make sure you like, subscribe. Make sure you go follow everyone here. Israel Muzella, Lionel Bomb Despacho, Jojo MP4, and Ryan Martin, man. Make
Yes,
sure you
sir.
go like the videos, too.
Main Love brought to you. We have a very, very big announcement today with Ryan. We are announcing a event that's going to be taking place May 16th at Lake Region High School, Ryan, where Ryan's going to be going for the world record for most free throws in 1 hour. Want to say anything about that? And introduce yourself first, obviously.
Yeah, I'm Ryan Martin. I played high school basketball at Maranacook, then went to play Division I basketball at University of Maine and Keene State, and was drafted to play professional basketball in Canada. And then the last few years, I've been the coach at Lake Region.
Let's start off some questions. First question, what are some specific techniques or strategies that you use while you're trying to do this incredible shooting contest and all these records that you're trying to break?
Well, first off, I think all great shooters have a great work ethic. So shooting a bunch and shooting game shots, I think was helpful for me being the best shooter I could. And the greatest part about this world record is it's truly a team. There's guys that I need 5 or 6 guys every time I shoot, and just have a lot of friends. JoJo's been there a lot of times too. And the only way you can practice to shoot that many shots in an hour is having guys there and friends there to help you.
Yeah, I was going to say, I've done a lot of work. I'm in the group chat every single week. They're trying to get in the gym. There's a lot behind the scenes work that gets done with these records. And there's even little things, like you talk about techniques. The first time we were trying this free throw world record, it changed so much. You'll see May 16th, but we tie his feet down to the ground so it doesn't go over. There's a bunch of little things all that work, like you talk about work ethic, all these little things is what adds up to the one thing. So tune in May 16th. It's going to be free admission. Main Love is the sponsor. They're going to be giving out a bunch of water. Get 1,000 cans of water there, just free. And we're also going to be raising money for a charity, Pat Moody Foundation, and the Frommy's Fight Foundation, which is raising money for kids with a rare pediatric brain cancer. So definitely stop by. It's a free entry. Come if you're not doing anything on May 16th. Come to Lake Region High School. Witness history. Last time we were there was over 500, about 600 people in the gym. The energy was insane. I think everybody's gonna remember that forever. But
This one will be cooler though. I think seeing because I have to make one free throw every 1.3 seconds for an hour, so it's gonna be pretty fast paced. And like JoJo said, we started off having the rack in a certain spot. We changed the position of the rack. My feet went over, I think, on 25 shots the first time we did it over the line. So we had to change that too. So now my feet are taped to the floor every time we go.
So how are you going to mentally, prepare for that situation? It's going to be, really hard, and you're going to only have, 1.3 seconds to shoot the ball.
Yeah. It's one shot at a time, right? You miss a shot, you can't be thinking about that last shot. It's on to the next shot every time. That's the way you have to go. I mean, sometimes I might miss 2 or 3 in a row, but you can't get your head down because there's no time to do that. If you do that, then you're going to fall further behind the pace. So it's truly one shot at a time. Play the next play just like you hear your coaches tell you in games.
I'd say you probably learned a lot through actually playing through high school at the collegiate level and then professionally. You learned a lot through that, and you can kind of, like you're saying, don't think about the last shot. You think there's any big lessons you learned through actually playing team basketball that's carried over into these world record attempts?
Yeah, for sure. I think the big actually I heard Brian Scalabrine say this in a podcast talking about just staying in the moment and being present when you're an athlete. And it's the same thing with these records. It's one shot at a time. It's seeing how you play the next play. I love seeing players, especially young players, when they turn the basketball over or they make a mistake or their teammates make a mistake, and then they're the first ones who sprint back on defense and make a big deflection on the defensive end. It just shows that you can play the next play.
We got 2 young basketball players right here.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And can you walk us through your training regimen and how do you maintain your skills?
You talking about now or when I was younger?
All of it.
I mean, I think growing up, I just wanted to be the best basketball player that I could be. And so I knew to being consistent with that. And I tried to outwork everyone, trying to do everything that you can control. You can control how often you shoot. You can control how hard you work. And just being the best version of yourself and the best that you possibly can be.
And how do you think your record-breaking shots have impacted the basketball community in Maine?
It's a good question. I hope people see that hard work can pay off. I mean, it was kind of just a random thought one of my friends had one day when we were shooting that I should start going for some world records, and it's been very healthy for me to constantly have a challenge. And every time I exercise or I go to the gym, I have a purpose to work out, and I'm trying to stay in shape. I mean, you have to be in extremely good physical condition to shoot baskets for an hour straight.
I would say I've seen that. You are dead after an hour of literally just shooting nonstop. You are actually dead, and it's insane. And it shows you how, like, if you really want something, you just got to put in the hours and just dedicate yourself. It's very inspiring. So, like, how it's affected Maine, it was cool. Like, going back to August 2024 when you broke the record for high school threes in an hour. It was super cool seeing a gym of Naples, just everybody comes together. You saw, like, Johnny Patino was there from G&G, like, just bringing the basketball community together. And I think that's something that needs to be done more nowadays, because I feel like a lot of people are sort of isolated. And I think the more we can put on events like this and the more we can bring people together, the better we're going to grow as a community.
Yeah, we could definitely relate to that, because when we use the shooting machine, we do like 1,000 shots, 500 each for both of us. And I could tell that his arms and my arms is just like dead after the shot. Like, it's just like, it just hurts, and I'm like, damn, bro. Like, and then we got to go back at it another day. But, putting the work in is good every day.
It's part of the process. And I'm telling, like, just shooting in general, even if you shoot like 10 shots, your arm's still going to be burning, especially right here. It's most of the one that works a lot when you're flicking your wrist. It hurts. It hurts. But, oh, yeah, you got that. Yeah. That was your question.
Yeah, what advice would you give to, like, a teenager that's trying to work on their game and their shots to become a way better shooter?
Yeah, I think all great shooters don't shoot exactly the same, right? But I think all great shooters, their individual shot looks the same every time. So I think the more you can find a form that you can easily repeat, obviously the more consistent of a shooter you're going to be. I think it was Ray Allen talking about, if you and I are competing against each other and seeing who's going to be the best shooter by the end of the summer, if you shoot 100 shots a day and I shoot 100 shots a day, but I'm shooting the same way every single time, and you have 10 shots looking one way, you have 25 shots looking a different way, then I'm shooting 100 shots the same way every time, and you're shooting 10 or 12 shots the same way every time. So obviously by the end of the summer, I'm going to maximize how good of a shooter I can be. So I think probably the number one thing is to find a form with like a one motion form that you can easily repeat, so you can just do that over and over again.
And I mean, you've been a great shooter for like 25 years now. I would say, has like shooting, I've always kind of wondered this, like shooting for an hour, like the way you've been training the past year, shooting at an insane rate that I would say not that many people shoot in that training way. Do you think that's improved your game or kind of changed it up a little bit because you've been focused more on shooting than like dribbling? How do you think like just training differently do you think it's improved your game?
Yeah, I'd say it's completely different. I mean, because when we first started doing these records, I wasn't used to shooting that many shots in that amount of time. Usually when you're doing shooting workouts, you'll shoot and you'll maybe do something else, or you're moving to a different spot. But I'm not moving to a different spot. I'm just shooting as fast as I can over and over again. So the free throw run almost feels like you're doing pop-a-shot. Right?
You were doing that last night.
And we'll talk about that soon, right? Yeah. But yeah,
especially with your feet tied. Like,
yeah,
I would want to see how you would shoot with your feet tied up. That's a little crazy.
Would you say it's harder physically or mentally?
That is a great question, because I would say mentally, because it kind of reminds me of like when you're, I don't know, if you're like carrying grocery bags and your arms are feeling tired, right? But you're just like, you can do it, but you just know you'd rather drop them. And that's how I feel when I'm shooting 5 minutes in, and I know I have 55 minutes left, but it's like, I can do this. I have to like feel that pain and endure that pain for the next 55 minutes or an hour.
I've seen something on like a podcast that was like, it's a certain part of your brain where if you're doing things that you don't like or you don't want to do, that's like almost like the healthiest thing you can do as a person, is just doing things like waking up and doing things you don't necessarily, whether that's going to the gym, whether that's doing your homework, doing things you don't want to do is like how you grow. So I think like you're doing it at like the highest level. And I think it's very inspiring. But talking about Pop-A-Shot, and you were at Aura last night in Portland with the Blake Show. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, that was a pretty cool experience. The Blake Show, something I just started listening to every morning on my way to work now. But Todd was the one who challenged me to a Pop-A-Shot competition because they heard about my world record, and it was actually pretty close. I made 49 in a minute, and Todd made 36 in a minute. Mm-hmm. But there's a lot of people there. I mean, Kelly, Todd, Blake. It's again the Blake Show with Kelly and Todd. They're all three of them are very funny.
You said there's a couple hundred people there.
They said 545 people.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, he was close. He made 39. You made 49.
He must have been. He had to have been
He must have been
practicing.
locked in.
He made 36.
36.
Maybe there's a record for Pop-A-Shot that you could.
Well, I
Hey,
think
man, you can break any record you want. You gotta put your mind to it for real. And what about your career in Canada? Have you ever made some crazy shots while you were playing?
Well, to be honest, I didn't play a whole lot in Canada. I was a guy who was on the end of the bench, and I got in some games. But I learned, again, I think what a most important thing that I've learned from being a player and helping me with coaching is I was the best player in a team at one point. I was a role player in a team, and I experienced being one of the last guys on the team too. So experience all those roles, I think. It's just very important to know how that feels, because when you know how something feels, it's easier to relate that to your players as a coach. So really telling players what their role is and going over what your role is and how important that is, and also making every player just feel comfortable.
And can you explain what you mean by a role player?
Yeah, was someone who gets in games consistently, but you're not the guy who plays every minute of every game. You're not the guy who takes the last shot to win the game. Maybe your role changes every night. Maybe you're a guy who plays 15 minutes one game, the next game you're playing 5 minutes based on different matchups, or you just kind of have to roll with the punches and know that you're a guy who might be playing more if someone's in foul trouble, maybe someone's sick, maybe someone's ineligible. We just know that you're being flexible in your role, and you're not the star guy in the team, but you have a huge impact on the team too.
And I have a quick question about your college career. I saw your interview with JoJo about you playing against Blake Griffin. What was that like?
Yeah, that was probably one of my cooler experiences with basketball. I know Blake Griffin was the best player in the country at the time, and Oklahoma was also #1 in the country. And actually, before that game, I didn't talk about this with JoJo, but before the game started, we were in an alley before going out to the gym, before we got called out. Oklahoma was right in front of us, and everyone in the UMaine team was behind. And do you remember Blake Griffin's brother, Taylor Griffin? Do you guys know that? So Taylor was holding on to Blake Griffin's jersey, and Blake Griffin was running in place, and he was like ha ha ha, and all his muscles in his body were like bulging out. And yeah, it was intimidating being behind that and seeing that. So then one of my teammates, Mark Sakobi, I don't know if you guys know who that is.
Maybe.
Mark Sakobi was Mr. Basketball. I think he was Mr. Basketball in Maine, a couple years older than me. But he grabbed a hold of my jersey. No, he put my hand on his jersey, and he started doing the same thing that Blake did. And he was like, ha, ha, ha. And Blake and Taylor both turned around and looked at us. And I remember they thought they were going to beat us up before the game started.
Wait, was he doing that as like a joke, like kind of mocking it?
Mark was mocking them, but he picked the wrong guys to mock.
Yeah, best player in the country.
And what about throughout like the game situations? What was it like playing against him?
Yeah, I mean, he's just an animal. He's just a guy who is a foot taller than me, weighs, I don't know, 100 pounds more than me, super athletic. Yeah, there was a play where I actually turned the ball over, and they came down, and Blake Griffin had the dunk, which was the #1 on SportsCenter the next morning.
Damn.
So we were watching that, and I mean, I was #1 on SportsCenter, but and they were the wrong end.
#1 assister.
Yeah, that's right.
You said something when we were at BA doing that. You were like, that basically made us #1 in the country.
Oh yeah. So when we played against, this was Boston College. So we played against Boston College, and we beat Boston College. But the night before that, Boston College played against North Carolina, and North Carolina was #1 in the country. Yep, so they beat North Carolina. Then the next night we beat Boston College. So that's what I was telling him by the transitive property. I think we're #1 in the country after that.
That's that teacher coming out. That's right. The transitive property.
Can you share a particular like story or a shot that you like made and it was crazy?
I guess the first one that comes to my mind is when I was in high school playing at the Bangor Auditorium. We were playing against Matt and Knockhook, and to end the third quarter, I made a shot from like 5 feet behind half court to end the quarter. And I don't know, it was always fun playing the Bangor Auditorium. You guys, unfortunately, won't get to experience it because that's torn down now. But that place, they called it the Mecca, and the bleachers were just straight up. It felt like the fans were right on top of you. There were so many dead spots in the floor. You couldn't bounce the ball in certain spots, but it was such a cool place to play. And that's probably why that was a memorable shot, too, just because it was the Mecca.
Yeah. What would you say like the biggest difference between playing like at the collegiate level versus playing like professionally, or even just being in that whole atmosphere, like the training regimen, the teams, like what's the biggest like difference in the step from collegiate to professional?
Yeah, and I'd even say from high school to Division I first, I noticed the biggest change was just how quick everything changed. Like passing lanes closed up quickly, and yeah, it was just taking care of the ball was hard because there's so much length and athleticism. And then I noticed in the professional level, you still had that length and athleticism, but you also had guys who were super skilled. So it was, guys can do everything. If you're a professional basketball player, if you're getting paid to play basketball, most of the time guys can do just about everything. And if you're my size, you have to be absolutely elite at something.
Yep.
And mine was shooting.
For these guys are about to make the step from middle school to high school. Do you have any advice?
I think now it's time to start getting in the weight room. Everyone's doing it. So I'm sure I know you talking to you guys. You guys are in the gym quite a bit, but you only have one body, so take care of it. And I think that's stretching before, stretching after, and practicing at game speed. I mean, how many guys? I know so many players who love being in the gym and they're gym rats. But to me, a gym rat is someone who trains at game speed. It's that way you're taking shots that are the same speed that you're going to shoot in a game. I mean, there's a lot of players that are great practice shooters and not game shooters because of that.
That's a big thing about what you teach, knowing from being at clinics. You start you have level 1, 2, and 3. You start with your form, and then you slowly work up to shooting at game speed. What would you say like the importance of that?
Yeah, I think there are 3 phases to like when you are shooting in the gym by yourself, to be thinking about 3 phases. You're either in phase 1, phase 2, or phase 3. And to me, phase 1, your focus is only on your form. And you're not worried about the speed that you're going. You're not worried about if you make shots. Because if you start worrying about that, then your form's going to break, right? Because you're going to be more focused on making shots or the speed you're going. And then when you're in phase 2, you try to work on your form, but also try and do it at a game speed. And again, though, when you're in phase 2, you don't want to be thinking about making shots because, again, so many players get caught up in making and missing shots. And because of that, what do you do to your speed? You slow down so you can make the shots. So I think then you're in phase 2. And then I always end every workout making sure I'm in phase 3. And that's when you try to put it all together. Good form, game speed, and shooting with purpose, shooting with intention. I have that level shooting packet, which I think is one of the best things that I used growing up. It's 10 different levels. There's 10 drills in each level. And level 1's basic. And if you win 8 out of 10 drills or more, you master that level and you go up to the next level. And so you're just constantly challenging yourself every single day with new drills that are getting more and more challenging.
If you check out drbuckets.com, we've put together a little program. We need to revamp it because we have so much new experience that we've gotten recently. But I think if you go to drbuckets.com, you can kind of see what we're talking about if you're looking to figure out a way to improve your game, but you're not quite sure. Because I feel like anybody can go onto YouTube now and learn something, but I feel like if it's packaged in a certain way, which we've tried to do, like we have the basic, we have a moderate and then an elite level where you can sort of learn the skills and you'll have drills for what level you're at. Like I'd say you guys could both go right to the elite level drills, but someone who's just starting or someone who might have not like played AAU or something, they'll slowly start at beginner level drills and work their way up. So go to drbuckets.com.
Do you have a specific like ritual you do before you start shooting, or like you just like anything that you do to get your mind like locked in before you like try to break any record that you're trying to break?
Yeah, I'd say number 1, I form shoot first. I'm not a guy who walks into the gym and just starts taking free throws or threes. So I start in close. I get my confidence going, and mentally, I don't know. This is actually a lesson from my mom. My mom taught me that in order to have confidence, you put your arms above your head. So, I mean, sometimes I do that too, just to give myself some confidence and some clarity before I shoot.
Like a power pose almost?
Yeah, just a power pose. You hold the power pose for 2 minutes. I mean, I don't do that all the time, but sometimes if I feel like I need to relax or I need some confidence. Last night, actually, before the Blake show, I was doing this a little bit because I was a little nervous. There's a lot of people there, and I'm not necessarily the most comfortable person talking in front of people, and I thought maybe they're gonna ask me some questions. So try to build my confidence. I did that.
I learned about power posing. I haven't done it personally, but I heard about that and like the significance of that. So it's kind of cool. I didn't know you did that. That's very, very cool. But I definitely want to do some more research into that because it is interesting how everybody can have their own different rituals. I don't know if you guys know who Tony Robbins is, but he says a bunch of different you can do stuff like vocally, like if you're nervous or something, like letting out that, because everything's like energy. Like a big thing with me is I've sort of kind of understood that if you're nervous or something, you're capable of controlling how you perceive that. So nervousness, I think, is just misinterpreted excitement. So if you can change that in your brain and sort of understand that that's just an energy, and if you want to perceive it as stress or nervousness, you can. But if you can just kind of take a step back, ground yourself, and just realize that's a bunch of energy, then I think that's a big thing about like controlling and for moments like that, like yesterday when you were nervous about going out on the show and talking in front of the people.
Me and Israel also have our own like ritual that we do before practices or games. We always first thing once we get into the gym, it's either we do ball handle or stretch. Those are the first two things we think about, and then we get to our form shooting, and then we get to our we most of the time I do my little prayer in my mind. I like put my head down and close my eyes. I just walk around and just pray, and then I finish my prayer, and then I obviously go to this guy first because it's my guy. I always got to go to him, give him a dap, and then we get our game going. That's what we always do. Or at practices, we always just start off with ball handle and form shooting, and that's just our thing. We always do that every day. Coach B never fails to remind us
I feel like ball handling's huge. Like you'll see, I remember Curry's like before games, he'll do like that dribbling thing that went viral back in the day, and I feel like that's a huge thing because it just gets your blood flowing and like those muscle movements and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it also like warm ups your hand, but it also like hurts too. Especially if you're doing it for a long time. Like Rob Dillingham, he's like the reason why like his handles are so tight and he's so good at it is because like he just does it until it like his hands hurt and then he just changes like to different Oh nah, his
hands specifically because he uses different. He also uses heavy ball. Like I mean, everybody got to use a heavy ball to get their handles tight. What did it feel like once you realized I just broke one of the like Guinness World Records? Like how did you feel?
Hard work paying off, I think. Same thing. I mean, as when I got drafted in Canada, and the feeling of that was, I guess, a lot of people doubting me, and I'm sure when I told a lot of people too that I was going to go for a world record, I'm sure there were doubts then too, and I've always thrived off of trying to prove people wrong. I think just being an undersized guy, like I think you are too, right? And yeah, I mean, there's going to be a lot of people who are going to say you can't play at that level because of your size, and that's like the best thing to do. Is that's like extra motivation for me every day. Like that, I want this badly, and I want this more than the other person does, and I'm going to work harder than them. And I don't know why size is a disadvantage in basketball, and I think sometimes being a little guy has a ton of advantages. Like you're lower to the ground. You want to be the low man anyways. Low man always wins. So I don't know why it's like that, but as a coach, I usually like little guys. I mean, they're a pest on defense. It's hard dribbling around them, and it's hard to steal the ball from them. And if you're a point guard, those are two pretty important things.
Yeah, look like Chris Paul. But I would say I have a question. What do you think's better, getting the satisfaction of beating the record, or do you think the process of going for the record is almost better than getting the record?
Yeah, I mean, I think you need both. You need to enjoy the process first and foremost, and knowing that it's coming. I mean, I didn't know when I was going to break the record, but I knew it was coming. And again, with these guys too, with the free throw record, when we first started like 8 months ago with it, right? We did it the first time. We did it for 10 minutes, and I think I made 500 shots in 10 minutes, which wasn't even close to on pace to the record. But
I remember that we were like, how are we gonna do this? Is this even possible? We were like, how did this guy do that? He must have been doing some like crazy technique or something. But it is super cool and super inspiring to see how if you literally just stick to something, you've been at it for 8 months. Yeah. Obviously, your playing time helps you because you've had the muscle memory of shooting, but just showing how like we didn't think or you would be able to even have the opportunity or chance to break this free throw world record. It seems so out of like proportion that it wouldn't be able to, but just sticking to it getting to the gym, trying to get to the gym every week or multiple times a month is paid off. And now we're at the point where May 16th, come to Lake Region High School, and you'll see him break a record.
But also, though, I mean, it's the work ethic and doing it every day. But I'm also fortunate enough to have, like we talked about earlier, having all those friends who come in once a week. If I did not have that, there's no way that this record would be possible either. So that's one of the cooler things about this record is it's me shooting, but I need to have a ball in my hands after I shoot. If I don't have a ball in my hands, if my team's not working well together, then I'm not going to be able to beat the record either. So it's truly a team event, and it's pretty cool watching all of us.
It's
together.
super cool. It's like a machine, because I feel like the easy way would be to just have like a ball, like have a net or something, have the ball roll to you to be able to shoot. But the fact that we have people rebounding, passing it to people, holding, like catching the balls and then sliding it down, and then the person handing the basketballs to Ryan. It's just a whole team, and everybody touches the ball. So it's crazy. You guys,
Yo, Coach V, bro.
Coach B.
Coach V, bro. Come on, Coach V. But
Coach B goes balls.
bro, come on, Coach V. But yeah, you got that.
Everybody's touching the ball.
Yo.
So how has holding a record impacted your life and changed it?
Like I said earlier, it's really healthy for me right now. I'm 36 years old, and my playing days are done. Men's league didn't really give me that same itch that playing in Canada and playing in Division I did. So, but for me, chasing world records, it does. It gives me. I'm shooting baskets once a week or more than that. When I'm working out, I have a passion to stay in shape because I want to be in shape to be able to shoot for an hour straight. And before, when I was working out, it wasn't like I want to be in shape for a men's league game. That would never cross my mind. It was just going through the motions almost in the gym. So, like I said, it's been healthy for me.
Yeah.
I think that's like the biggest thing.
Mentally and physically, but I think there's something very powerful in finding your purpose, because I feel like a lot of people who are unhappy, they might just not have a purpose. They might just get up and go on TikTok and just let the day control them. But if you're fighting for something every single day and have a purpose, I think that's how you're going to be happy. Like you guys, for you, it's basketball. For me, it's doing photos. Like every single day I'm trying to do work to grow Maine and growing myself, doing photos and stuff. And then for you, doing records. Like finding purpose and finding something is very, very important.
Yeah, and speaking of the men's league, so we have Coach Tick who just scored 60 points. Have you like dropped any like crazy points in the men's league?
Oh,
Like 70, 80, you know? Because he could shoot.
Well, pause for a second. Like, Alex Lingata, shout out Alex. He won a championship in 2016 with Lake Region, but he hit me up to do some men's league stuff. They were doing it at Lake Region, and I showed up to do some photos, and you were playing, actually, and it was just levels to it. You can talk about some of your men's league games where you just going crazy.
I had 89 points in one men's league
Lord
game.
have mercy.
But that was 89.
Somebody's, I guess. Yeah, I guess.
Yo, when Coach sees this, he's going for 100.
Yeah, but tell him I had 89 points in 34 shots. Make sure he knows that
34
too.
shots.
In 34
34
shots?
shots.
All
just make-
three.
No. I mean, I had some free throws too. I think it was 25 from the foul line, so that helped. But there's definitely some threes in
You
there.
shot 97% in college from free throw?
Yeah, 97.1.
We're going to get in New Jersey.
Free throws, I feel like, are more mental, if anything. But
Yeah.
you had that free throw. We were just talking about it actually before the camera
I was stressing.
started rolling, and where you hit the game winner. You were down 3, last second buzzer beater. You shoot a 3, drain it, get fouled. That must have been the whole gym was silent. The
I'm
whole
telling
gym was
you, could
silent
hear a
when you
pin
go.
drop.
It was insane. And I was like. I don't know, like, so much must have been going through your head, and I was like, I knew you were gonna make it, but I was like, there's so much pressure on you right now. It's actually insane. You ended up making it, won the game for this team. That was awesome, but like free throws are harder than they seem sometimes.
Like my head, I had so much stuff running through my head, like so much. But the number one thing that was running through my head was, if I miss this free throw, Coach B's he's gonna get on me the entire car ride. 'Cause that's a 2-hour car ride, so that's a lot of yelling. So like, I had to lock in. And then like the worst thing about it is how silent it got, like too silent for my
silent.
liking.
Yeah.
Like everybody was cheering, right? I blink, I dribble the ball 1-2. I flag, so I spin the ball in my hands, right? That's my ritual. And then I set my feet, and then everything just goes silent. I just started shaking. I just shot it, it went off to the left and then it rolled in. I was shivering. Like I was actually so scared. Thank God I made that.
Would it have helped if there was a little bit of sound, or do you think the silence?
I'm
is,
more
like,
comfortable with sound because I obviously have Coach B in my ear all practice. So like I just gotta make it anyway. So basically that was just like it was an uncomfortable, but it was a situation I had to be comfortable with. Because I know when I'm in high school, it's going to be different. It's going to be louder than usual
You're gonna
in an
have
AAU
those
game.
fan sections.
Yeah,
You don't
the
got fan
student
sections at
sections.
AAU.
Yeah, neither with middle school ball too. So like I got to get used to that.
Little
It
bit.
depends. That game when
Depends.
you and King, that like, but nobody was trying to distract nobody on a free throw.
That game seemed crazy. I saw that all over Instagram. You and you
Yeah.
versus Kalon.
That game was like probably like the best middle school game in history. I ain't gonna lie.
It's so crazy.
I feel like it is.
Nah.
I feel like it is.
For
I
you,
think me
100%.
dropping 30 on King should be the best. They
The
got
reason-
blessed that we
Well,
lost.
the reason why I say that is because, they came back with like a way stronger team, and we weren't expecting that. Like,
They had
obviously
the Avengers.
we obviously beat them like the year before, 7th grade, but then 8th grade, we were just in our heads. We're like, we know what they're capable of because, like, of course, like, they beat Lionel, but Lionel still dropped 30 on them. So we're like, and then when we faced Lionel, we're like, we don't want to get dropped 30 on, but we just got to do it now.
I'm so
30.
I'm so excited though because like that's a middle school game and it had so much hype around it. You versus Kalon and all of that. Just wait till this high school season's about to be crazy. The amount of freshman talent there's gonna be is gonna make games so exciting to watch because you also don't know how you probably know how you're gonna play at that next level when there is the crowds when you're representing that high school and there's the fan sections yelling at you. Like I think it's gonna be so fun to watch.
Well, I haven't
bro.
seen either of you guys play yet, so I'm excited to see
Hey.
that.
Whenever you want to, just pull up. Just let us know. We'll let you know where our games are at. We have a Made Hoops tournament coming up in May in Massachusetts. So if you would like to come down and watch us play, that'd be great.
Real quick, give me a comparison. Who do you guys play like?
Me,
You pick one guy in the NBA.
so I'll go from like all my accolades. So for
Badges.
yeah, I got badges, 2K badges. I got you, bro. So for shooting, I'm gonna say let's see. I have to get a shooter that's kind of consistent, but like I don't know. I'll go with Steph. Just
Steph, you said-
yeah, I'll go with Steph.
You want a shooter that's kind of consistent? I'm gonna go with Steph.
But I'll go with Steph, and then for my like point guard skills, like facilitating.
Kyrie.
Yeah, for handle Kyrie.
So you handle like Kyrie, you shoot like Steph.
Dunks
Yep.
like Ja. Dunks
Yep.
like Ja.
I'm John Morant, bro. Hair like John Morant, everything, bro.
I gotta see you play.
Hey, I'd love to. I'll show you my talents. And then I'd say point guard skills. I try to mirror my game like Chris Paul or Rajon Rondo or Steve Nash. All these guys that are able to like pass the ball and
Pass
also
first, yeah.
just be a point guard in general. And then rebounding and blocking, not there yet. But I'll get better. I just got to grow a little bit. And then defense, I also got to get better on that. But it happens over time.
Yeah, I think your talking and your energy on defense is a level above most people, but I think like the blocking and the rebounding and that is something that you're gonna grow into, especially in high school.
Yeah, I'll leave that to Israel.
Yeah,
Yeah, you don't need to
Israel,
block.
you explain yourself.
Yeah.
Your archetype.
So shooting. I'll go.
Just say Shaq. Just say Shaq.
I'm not going Shaq. Shooting has to be like, let me think. I'm gonna think about shooting more. I'm gonna say blocking. No, block. Oh yeah, there we go. Thank you. Shooting, I'll say Kawhi Leonard. Handles, I'll go. Handles. No, I'm gonna go with Kawhi for handles.
Joel Embiid.
Nah, I feel like handles
Your game's
are
a
more
young
handles.
Joel Embiid.
Yeah, I'll probably say yeah. I'll
Just
probably
spin move
say
fadeaway guy.
Joel Embiid. Yeah.
I will say so. His fade, you'll have to
It's
see it. His
elite.
fade is
It's
so
elite.
it's not it's a knockdown fade. Like it actually like that shot's different from like anybody else.
His
on
release
the
point
court.
makes me so mad whenever we're playing one-on-one. It's unblocked. It's either you have to meet it down low or you just might have to put your hand in his face. He shoots the ball up here and still knocks it down. No, but if you see it yesterday at practice when he shot over Niles, he shot the ball up here. Like
Yeah, I was like, I
how?
don't know how I made that.
Like how?
There's some
like,
shots I take. I don't know how I make it.
How tall are you?
Like 6'3", 6'4". Actually, wait. Nah, I'm 6'5".
Are you done growing?
Nah.
Hey, we hope not. We hope not.
What do you hope?
6'7".
6'8", 6'7"?
Mm-hmm.
6'6".
Yeah.
Lionel's gonna be 6 foot come his freshman year.
Heck yeah. I wanna be at least like 6'4". That's my goal. That's
Oh,
my
you look
goal.
at Coach B. Coach B is huge.
Yeah, Coach V is ginormous. Actually,
you got some
speaking
room
of
to grow.
ginormous, someone in the comment section said Coach V is ginormous. They said, look at his. He said his dad is ginormous.
It was after he hit the free throw. That game, it wasn't going great.
Yeah.
Team wasn't really playing, but nothing was really happening. Coach B leaves the gym and he's watching from a window. He hits the game winner, and I panned the camera over to Coach B, and he's just sitting there.
Coach V, like literally, he's like, I'm telling you, the window is like probably like the size of this table. Coach B literally took up at least this much. He's just standing there like this, no reaction at all, hands in the pockets like this. I didn't know I just pointed at him just to let him know that was for you. Like if I didn't make that, Coach V was gonna be on me the entire car ride.
You can walk home.
Yeah,
from
I'm gonna have to walk home.
Want to pivot into like some coaching? We talked about coaching with Lake Region, how you started, and then we can go into inevitably ending. So how was it like? How did you first start at Lake Region? I guess I was actually a player when you were coaching.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I didn't play my freshman year. I started my sophomore in junior year. Yeah, yes, sir.
You're a red shirt. Just worried about
I
academics
thought
first.
you were gonna play your senior year, but you ended up not trying out.
No, I started doing photo stuff. That was better.
I knew the athletic director there first. I knew Paul True, and I was coaching at Sanford before that, and just wanted to keep coaching, and that was kind of my itch to stay in basketball, and I mean I've loved coaching, and at Lake Region too. My first year there was a very special year because we had a team that went 3-15 I think the year before. And I'm not taking credit for it. We just had a team that ended up buying in, and they also didn't have many players that they lost the year before. But they just had that my first
Was
year.
that Evan Willie's?
No, it was Derek Lingatis,
Oh,
Ethan
yeah.
McMurray, Isaac Holland,
Oh wow.
and those three guys. And the reason why that team was good because we had three seniors that were vocal, and they were just great leaders. They held their teammates accountable, and that was out of all my years coaching, I think that was probably the one team that like really reached our full potential. I think we made it to semifinals, so we were just one game away from to making it to the finals, and that was a great team.
Yeah.
Went 3-15 the year before that, and then that year I think we went 10-8 and made it to the semis.
I think it's crazy the importance of like being vocal. Like those guys you were just talking about might have not have been the most skillful players,
Yeah.
but also 2016 when Lake Region won, they just had so many guys that were vocal. They might have not have been the top skilled player in the country or in the state, but just being together as a team, I think it's crazy how you can like basketball's truly a team game, and if you're working together, especially at the high school level, you can do anything you really want. But nowadays, I think it's harder to come by. You would know better from coaching, but it's harder to come by players who are playing as a team almost.
And also just like the energy in practice, like that was a game changer. Just how much energy those guys brought to practice. I mean, there were so many practices that year. I remember where like Isaac, Derek, and Ethan weren't allowed to speak because I wanted to see if other guys could raise the energy. And yeah, I mean it's so important having guys that are vocal leaders and guys who just bring that energy in practice. You know, when there's positive energy flowing in a practice, guys start shooting better. There's high fives all over the place and picking each other up after mistakes. And that team truly did all that.
So Allie actually said she was relating it to her school practices versus her AAU practices and the difference in positivity. Some of her practices at school, like let's say you're doing one-on-one or something and you go by somebody, you're happy as a player, but the defender might be like upset that got broken, or they got like blown by. But at AAU, everybody was just so supportive of everybody, even the person who got like blown by. Like you can learn from that and just being supportive about that instead of like taking it personally or like taking it offensively. And it's so good like learning from mistakes. I just heard there's no such thing as winning and losing. It's winning and learning. So like being able to like understand and work together in a positive way, similar to like what you were saying, like even when you had those three players who were vocal and like you can't talk, it's like I feel like the players who weren't those three players might have taken that personally, that they like were like, oh, I'm not talking, but that's how you grow and that's how you become a better team. So
I mean, my dad always teaches me how to be vocal, and he tells me every day that being vocal is like a main key of being a point guard as well. So being a point guard, I always got to know what's going on the court, and I also have to be able to teach my teammates and also lead them in a good way, not in a kind of negative way, and just teach them whenever they make a mistake. Don't like just go at them, just tell them what they need to do better next time, and just get back on defense and just get it back on defense next possession. And also, and during like middle school practices at Sopo, every practice was a good practice. It was also a fun practice because we got so many funny teammates. We got a lot of like me, Justino. We were like basically the leaders of the team, and we had to make sure that we set like an example for my teammates that wanted to also kind of be like us and also be greater than us and help us win games. And that just made the practice way better. We also had a couple of trolls on our team. We had Emmanuel. Emmanuel's too funny.
Are those the role players?
Yeah. You got Emmanuel. You got Braden. Braden always has jokes. Always. Like, he's just too funny. And then you got Joel and Marion. Those are dynamic duo. We got to bring you guys on the podcast for real. They too funny. And you also got Israel. Israel, what about your middle
I
school?
can relate to that because our middle school team is just like, there's a lot of positivity because like somebody could like, the biggest one I'll probably say it was Nathan because he's always pushing people whenever he goes by them. Like, he gives you a push off and he's like, oh, sure, I broke your ankles. And everybody would just laugh, be like, hey, you know what, bro? We'll let you slide. We'll be like, oh, yeah. Well, you broke our ankles. Or like, if we make a play, design a play for like a dunk and somebody was under the rim and I accidentally just dunked on somebody. It's not like they're going to get mad at me. They're going to be like, oh, shoot, you better do that in the game, but I don't do it in the game.
You will.
Yeah.
That's something.
Actually, in PA, we almost got one of those. I was trying to get at the beginning, right? It's an inbound play. We're like up by 30. So I said, you know what? Why not try it? So I said, Israel, go to the wing. This guy stops and stares at me and goes, huh? I said, go to the wing. He stands there and looks back and doesn't move. I screamed it so loud. I said, Israel, go to the wing. He still didn't move. So my dad goes, time out. Why are you yelling? Al goes, I wanted him to go to the wing. I wanted to design a play. I was trying to make him do a backdoor cut so he can get an alley to the middle, right? And he goes, okay, then draw it down so he knows what he's doing. I was like, all right, I get the board. I show him everything, right? We get back in. So first, right, I'm like acting like I'm going to pass it to the corner, right? I'm looking. Israel gets the back door. I look last second. I throw it up. Perfect. Israel grabs the ball and then rim stuffs, but the ball still goes in. So I was like, yeah, just count it. But I was so mad. No, that was a perfect play,
you got the
too.
2 points, so that counts. But no cameras rolling, so I mean.
What's it called?
We got it on camera.
One of my friend's brothers that's injured. He plays on the 7th grade team. Got it on camera, but it was too far. He was filming in 0.5. I don't know why.
You'll save that for high school anyways. So
yeah.
Some summer work.
Mm-hmm.
And if you would have any basketball court that was themed and made for you, what would it be?
Jeez, that was themed for me. I don't know. Do you have an answer first? Do you guys have anything? Give me some ideas here.
I mean, for you, I would say that
Like the
Guinness World
yeah,
Record
that's all I'm
plaque
thinking
over
about.
there.
Yeah, I mean that, or I mean getting drafted to play in Canada. I mean that was probably, and Mr. Basketball. It was all of the individual awards that meant the most to me, just because I know I think the awards that mean the most are the ones that you've been wanting to do for a long time, right? So, Mr. Basketball, when I was your age, I remember in 8th grade, the rankings came out, and I was number 2 in the state as an 8th grader, and I was like, I want to be number 1. So that was always my goal. I was like, in 4 years, I want to be Mr. Basketball. So then, when winning that award, that felt great. And then after that, when you are in college, you want to play at the next level, you want to play professionally. So then getting drafted to play in Canada is probably the next step.
I got 2 quick questions. Sorry to interrupt.
No, you're
good. Who was number 1 at that time when you were number 2? And then also, what were these rankings back in your day here in Maine?
2008.
I mean, when I was in 8th grade, it was 2004.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I
We
mean,
don't have rankings.
None of us were born.
We don't have rankings.
I mean, my brother was 2 years old, but he wasn't here in America.
all right, it was on MBR. Remember that? MBR.org. I mean, that would be different people that are ranking. There's Lee Suvlu in 8th grade was number 1. And then I remember Sam McClare when I was in high school. He was another guy that was always like number 1 and number 2 with me. There's a lot of good players my year.
And do you have any specific playlists that you listen to while you're shooting, or do you just shoot just straight here in the basketball? That's it.
It's pretty bad, but yeah, no music at all. I'm just
We
just
got
an
Ian.
animal.
We got Ian giving you calms.
No,
If you could shoot hoops with any animal, what animal would it be?
shoes with an animal. I mean, this is a no. Yeah, I'm a dog guy. Air Bud. You guys seen Air Bud?
Yes, I think I have. I think. Is it that dog that can dunk and like shoot from like?
She doesn't dunk, but it's a golden retriever. I have a golden retriever now because of Air Bud. Like that was, and
I
I.
remember that movie. Yes, I know.
Oh, it's a great movie. So yeah,
He uses his
definitely.
nose to shoot. And
Oh,
then,
yeah.
boom, it knocks it down from deep.
And of
I thought you
course,
would pick a giraffe. 'Cause, like,
Yeah, I was thinking giraffe too. That's it. Just has to hit the ball with his head. You got the rebound right there. Me, I would say, let's see. I wouldn't say a very lethal animal that hunts people because it might want to eat me while I'm shooting. But let's see, either giraffe or just like
giraffe's a
some
good one.
passive animal that's really big. That's it.
I mean, how cool would it be having your best bud though be your dog who would just hoop with you?
yeah.
That- That's fun.
That's
That's
I don't know if you've seen Adam Sandler
yeah.
plays basketball with his dog all the time. It just reminds me of that.
I used to have a dog of my own in Texas, but we had to leave him back there with my uncle. We didn't have enough money to bring him with us, but it's all right. I'll always get a dog that's literally the same breed. I don't care. Same breed, everything, and I'm gonna name him the same dog. every time, I'm telling you. I miss that dog so much. There's so many pictures of me with him in the back of the trunk. I didn't want to sit in the I didn't want to sit in the car. I would sit in the back of the trunk with the dog. Every time he was home, he would chase everybody around the house. Like everybody, he tried to bite your ankles and everything. I was scared because I wasn't used to it. My brother tamed him like easily. He was just chilling with him every day.
I got a question. So you've been playing for like you were in middle school. You said 2004 you were playing, and now you were just a coach. What advice or like what would you say to coaches working with athletes today versus like the average high school athlete when you were in school?
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I guess you do have to be more careful with things. I think now, which is I mean good and bad, but I think it's so crucial for good coaches to be clear in how they communicate with their players. And I think probably one of the most important things was just having a clear parent meeting before the season started, so that way parents and players and coaches are all on the same page. And my sister coached at Bowdoin College, and she was under head coach Adrian Scheibels. And I remember one thing that she learned from her was, number one, like in timeouts, having everyone together, their arms around each other, so that way you're together during all timeouts. And also any conversations too with parents would always be making sure that that player was in the conversation as well too. So I would never be, and parents knew that in the parent meeting too, that if you have any issues with anything, it's going to be like if you an issue with Coach B and you and me, then all three of us are going to talk together. So, because sometimes players are going to go home saying things that necessarily aren't what the coach is saying, and then just having a meeting with just your parent, they're going to hear just what you said. So it makes sense for us all to be together. And I think that kind of took away from meetings happening, number one, because the players knew what the truth was, or if we did have a meeting, we were able to work things out too.
Were phones an issue as a coach, like that new technology and stuff? Did you say like
No, and I dealt with there's players who, which is one thing that I don't like about the phones and guys wanting to be on camera all the time playing, is I know I had some players who were like in the weight room doing bicep curls before a game, when to me I'm not going to be doing bicep curls before a game, especially if I'm a shooter. I mean that's so I think there's some times where we're worrying too much about how we look, and then we're not going to perform as well. And I didn't have to deal with any of that. I mean, it was just I'm going to do whatever I can to play the best.
that's why
And I didn't really look that good at it, but my stats
you're
look
ripping your arm muscle before going to shoot.
Why? I don't know why people always worry about
Bro,
looking good to play. You just got to play for real.
Mhm.
Basketball's not worried about looks. It's just if
I
you
mean,
can really hoop for real.
good. You look good when you hoop, when you play good, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. When you had a game winner,
That's me, bro.
And if you could turn any an everyday activity into an shooting competition, what would it be and why?
An everyday activity.
Yes.
I'm competitive with anything I do, so it doesn't really matter what it is, but especially something that's if it's sports related, like if it's any sport, anything physical, I want to be the best at it. So I don't know. I think any
everything.
Yeah.
I'm thinking the same, especially in gym class.
Oh yeah.
Like, we do an activity and like my team wins, and then we lose, and I'm just like, damn, like, I expected us to win. Like I expect to win everything. Like in any type of competition I do, I just don't like losing.
But the thing, to me at least, is it's things that you're passionate about, right? So that's why I think it's so important to find something that you're passionate about, because when you're passionate, you learn so many life skills. You learn hard work. You learn resilience. You learn empathy towards people. So I think when you are passionate in something, that's number one. But things that I'm not passionate about, like I'm not really that competitive about it because I don't care. But if if it's like playing cards, I'm not super competitive with that. But if it's something athletic, I am.
It's like you might not care about the activity, but you hate losing.
Yeah.
Winning versus losing.
Throughout your college career, has your team ever made it to March Madness?
Ugh. This is my sour subject. No, that was one of my goals. I wanted to play in March Madness, and I wanted to have Dick Vitale commentate one of my games. That was like in high school. That's all I wanted. And I mean, not all I wanted, but that was like one of my big goals. At UMaine, I mean, we lost in the first round my first year, and then the second year we actually had a really good team. We won 21 games my second year. But in the America East, obviously, to make the tournament, you gotta win the America East to make it in the tournament. UMaine this year almost made it. They lost to Bryant in the championship. Mm-hmm. So no, never made it at UMaine. And then even at Keene State too. I mean, I transferred to Keene State, which used to be a Division II school, Division III school now. But Keene State, we were ranked number 1 in the country when I transferred there, but we never made it either. And that was all with a bunch of talent, but we didn't know how to play together.
I mean, back in your day, there wasn't such thing as NIL deals and all of that. But nowadays, you see all these transfer portals and see people, these college prospects that used to be high school seniors, freshmen, making $3.5 million plus, like dollars, just because they're transferring to a different school. What are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, that's crazy. I wish I could have that. I mean, there's a player at UMaine right now who's getting paid a bunch and he's going somewhere else. I don't know what school he's going to, but yeah, it's definitely completely different than, like you said, back in my day. I haven't heard that, and I'm getting old, but it's true. Yeah, you guys weren't even born when I was a senior in high school. That's wild.
No, but I was middle school. I was born in 2006.
Yeah. But yeah, that's what I got. I don't know. I think that'd be really cool.
So you said college playoffs, right? Have you ever watched it, like, throughout your year, like any year that you felt like you wanted to watch it up close or just on TV? And like, what are some things that you like think you could have done if you're in that situation?
Like in the March Madness?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Anything, NBA playoffs, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I think that me being a shooter, I think offensively, I always felt like I could play at the highest level. And watching those March Madness games, I think, yeah, offensively, I believe that I could have played in a lot of those games. But the thing for me is defensively, being a guy who's 5'8", 5'9", and you have to be an absolute freak athletically being that size to play at that level. And I think I was quick and fast, but I wasn't necessarily as quick and fast as those 5'8", 5'9" guys were that did play at that level. And so defensively, that hurt me, where I tried to be a pest, but if it was a guy that was smaller that I was guarding, he would be quicker than me, right? And if I'm guarding a guy bigger than me, he'd post me up. So defensively, I had a hard time playing against the best of the best. But offensively, I always thought I could play with anybody.
How did you feel
About my bracket?
Yeah, about your bracket.
Horrible. I never had
Wait,
a bracket.
who did you have?
I had Florida winning it, so I was right about that.
So
but
you're happy about that one.
But I wish I would. The only reason why I thought Duke was the best team in the country by a decent amount, honestly.
They were.
Yeah, they were.
100%.
I mean,
The only reason
statistically.
I just didn't pick Duke because I thought everyone in my bracket would pick Duke. So that's what I thought picking Florida. But I mean,
And
You have that over
who'd you
one,
pick
though.
between Houston and Auburn?
Auburn.
I mean, what are your thoughts about all four of those teams? And obviously, they kind of made history saying that they're the 4 first seeds, like teams since I think 2008 to ever make it to the Final Four. What are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, I mean, it's rare for that to happen, clearly, but there's crazy how many upsets there are all the time in college basketball. But also the more talent that comes with basketball, like we call them upsets, but they're not. Players are just so good now that you see 12 seeds beating 5 seeds all the time because those 12 seeds can play. It's not like, I think, 15, 20 years ago, there was still talent out there, but every year it seems like talent's getting better and better, so you're going to keep seeing more and more upsets, which makes it even more impressive, actually, that those number 1 seeds all made it.
Yeah, it is crazy. Yeah, because as a 12 seed, you're almost one of the top 10 teams in the country, so it's like
Yeah.
it's crazy. But I wonder how it's gonna be like when you guys are in college, how the competition, because it's growing every year, and I think a lot of that starts at the youth program and the youth level, just people getting more active at a younger age, and so I think it'll be very interesting to see when you guys are making it to college.
And what are your thoughts about NBA playoffs? Because, NBA playoffs is already here this week. And who do you got winning it all?
Well, the Celtics. I mean, but also what I love about the NBA playoffs is the playing games now. I mean, I feel like a lot of people don't like that, but I mean, it makes the end of the regular season feel more like playoffs because you got 10 seeds now that make it, right? And then not only that, but if you also have those teams that are in the 5th, 6th, 7th seed that are fighting for that bye too. So I love having the playing games. I think it brings more intensity at the end of the regular season.
I think like playoffs in general, like the NBA regular season so long. Like I don't want to say players aren't trying in the regular season, but it is a super big difference seeing almost the competitive level of players playing at the playoff, and like in the playoffs it's a completely different game.
Yeah.
Like
They defend.
defense, literally defense is it.
Yeah. All I can
And-
say is that
Lakers in 5.
Lakers in 5.
Lakers in 5 all day, every day. And what's it called? You see the Warriors going crazy. Jimmy Butler and Steph, they were balling out. What are your thoughts about that? Because I mean, Steph's a guy. He can shoot from anywhere he wants. And then you got Jimmy Butler, just like you, obviously.
Just like you, right?
Me too. You know, I'm a shooter too.
Steph, Kyrie,
Yes, sir.
Embiid.
Ja.
Shaq, just a little bit of Shaq, just whenever I feel like it. But I mean, they were going crazy. Jimmy Butler and Steph Curry might be one of the best dynamic duos in the league right now. And then you got Lakers against T-Wolves. I got Lakers all the way. I just feel like T-Wolves might take the first game.
T-Wolves went on a crazy run last
Yeah,
year. Anthony Edwards did.
Yeah, I
Anthony
mean,
Edwards
Anthony-
put
Now
his
that-
name out there last
Now that
year.
Anthony Edwards can shoot more consistently, that might be a little bit of a problem. But
But they got Luka.
yeah, we got
and
Luka. Don't worry.
LeBron. That's-
I just hope Luka's not
insane.
moving too slow.
yeah, what do
But,
you think?
what are your thoughts about those?
Oh, I mean, that combo of Butler and Curry, that's like my favorite combo right there. You have probably the most skilled player in the game and then the biggest dog in the game. I mean, Butler, he-
especially playoff. Jimmy.
he is a true competitor and he just wants to win. So I think those two, just the way that their games are different, they mesh pretty well together. That's a scary team.
It's gonna be fun playoffs this season. I think it's also interesting seeing the Celtics because they're not as dominant as they were last year, but they still have one of the best rosters, and I think one of the best coaches as well. And just the culture of Boston, it's always there. But the Cavs are number one, so Cavs have a great team too. It's
Cavs
great.
are the first seed.
Yeah.
Wow, that's interesting.
And the Warriors in the play-in, aren't they?
Yeah.
So they're-
Yeah. So
It's a crazy time in the NBA. There's so much talent, like what we were just talking about.
I mean, Darius Garland, he's like a great player, great point guard in general too. And then you have who else you got on this? There's like that big guy with the afro. I always
Jared
forget his
Allen.
name. Yeah, Jared
Evan
Allen.
Mobley,
Evan
Donovan
Mobley.
Mitchell. They
That's
just got another player this year. They traded for him, but
they look should bring back not bring back, but they should take Imani Bates from G League.
Oh, Imani. Imani is like a KD, but just like a little bit skinnier.
oh, speaking of G League, JD Davidson just got upgraded to a standard NBA contract.
Yeah,
How
I
about
saw
That's
that.
Maine, so he's no longer a two-way. He won. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
not gonna be here.
He's actually getting buckets in one of the games. He had like a nice, I think 2 threes, one from the wing, one from the top of the key, and he also got a good layup.
Your
Yeah,
G
and
League
then
player
they
of the year,
benched him.
wasn't he?
Yeah, MVP.
They benched him real fast, but he's a great player.
All right, so we're gonna wrap up, but we just want to give one shout out to Undergod Athletics. They sent us a bunch of great merchandise that I'll show you. They have some great quality stuff. You're gonna have to look at their website. We'll put a link in the bio, but some socks. This is all God's plan. Like an amazing messaging here for this company, and they reached out to me and then asked if like Lionel and Israel wanted to promote some of their stuff, and we're gonna be doing some games with this stuff, and
Getting this big guy mic'd up.
we got some headbands. It's all super quality stuff. This shirt, I've never had a shirt like this, but the quality and the texture of this athletic shirt is great. When I was just down in Miami for a week, and anytime I worked out, I was wearing this. It feels amazing.
I can see it from here. It's great.
Yeah, it's great quality. You got arm sleeves, headbands. The socks are very nice quality. But we're gonna have. They also have so much other stuff. They have literally anything. If you're a sports player, they have anything for you. And if you rock with this messaging and all of this, like the black and white looks awesome. So all of this messaging, I think it's great to get this message across sports. It's something we all support. So I think go check out this company. Thank you for sending this stuff. We're gonna have some great content coming out, and hopefully do some more with this company. So shout out Under God Athletics. Thank you for sending it out. We're gonna be giving away some of this. We're going to be giving away some of these products. We'll let you know. We'll let you know how to enter these giveaways soon. But bunch of great stuff. Thank you Under God Athletics for sending this stuff, and we got some more videos coming out soon with these people.
Yes, sir. And also, guys, stay tuned. Me, Israel, JoJo, and my dad will also be doing another giveaway for some shoes. You guys, stay tuned for the post. All the instructions are going to be there. We're going to give you guys a couple of challenges. I think like 3 challenges would be good enough, right?
And
3 challenges. Make sure you guys do that. And JoJo, let them know.
And then let's just wrap it up with saying May 16th, come to Lake Region High School. Main Love is the official sponsor. They're going to be giving out hundreds to 1,000 cans of water, free water. It's a free event. There's no reason you shouldn't go. We're raising a ton of money for charity. Feel free to donate. So we're just going to be raising a bunch of awareness for this. So this will be a great event. You'll definitely want to be a part of it, and don't miss out on May 16th.
Yes, sir.
May 16th, 5 p.m., 2,461 free throws. That's the record.
2,400.
One every 1.3 seconds.
Yeah, that's all. You got to shoot that real fast. You can't think. You just got to shoot it.
Be a part of history.
And then also, I want to give a shout out to Main Love, purest water on earth right now. I want to give a shout out to my dad, all my friends and family. Shout out to you. Thank you for coming here. We appreciate you being here. Probably one of the best shooters I've ever met right now in my life. Can't wait to be Steph. But
I'll still be the best.
Just
kidding.
Yeah,
Just
we
kidding.
have to have a you versus Steph
quick little
3-point
shoot off,
competition.
you know. And then,
And then the
you got any shout outs?
Yeah, shout out to Rivals Nation. Shout out to Gorilla. Make sure y'all do good this weekend. Shout out to Blue Wave. Make sure y'all do good this weekend.
Junior IBL.
Shout out to my uncle. Shout out to my auntie. Shout out to everybody following us. Shout out to mom and dad. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Ryan, some more
Yeah.
shout outs.
Yeah. Shout out to you guys. Thanks for having me. This
Yeah,
was
no problem.
this was cool. Hopefully do it again, and hopefully I can see you guys play. I want to see Kyrie, Steph, Ja Morant guy. I want to see you guys. So I want to see you guys play, and I'd love to see you guys. I'd love to see you guys May 16th too if you don't have a tournament.
All right.
Thanks for having me.
Go to drbuckets.com. Shout out Main Love. Go to jojomp4.com. Follow all of our socials. We're almost at 1,000 followers on the Playoff Podcast. That is insane. Absolutely insane. But just thank you. Thank you for watching. Thank you for all of your support. The sport's been incredible recently. Ryan, thank you for coming on. May 16th is going to be an absolute crazy event. Make sure you stop by and pick up some free Main Love while you're there. Why not?
Hey, make sure you guys drop a follow on the Playoff Podcast and the Playbook Podcast. You'll have our YouTube channel right here. It'll pop up right here in one of these corners or something. You'll see it. And make sure you guys just show some love. Thank you guys for watching this video. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Make sure you stay tuned. This is going to post it around Saturday, whenever we can post it. And make sure you guys come to watch our next episode. Have a great weekend. Have a great day. May God bless you and guide you. See you next time.